Hello! Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to be showing you how to do a fun art project today. I'm calling this Rorschach Paintings because they're based off of the projective personality test that was developed by Herman Rorschach in the early 1900s. I can't really speak to how often it's used anymore, but it does make for a fun project. So in that he had developed a set of ink blots, which were made by dropping some ink on paper and then folding to make a symmetrical shape. And then people would look at them and tell them what they saw. And that was supposed to be indicative of certain parts of their personality or psychology. And now that's my librarian rundown after looking at a few sources. Don't take that as a professional psychiatrist summary. Just a quick introduction. But for this project that I've done, which is basically gonna be something like this, we are just making symmetrical paintings. You may have done this in younger grades in a specific way, but we're kind of picking it up and doing it again, possibly a little bit more special. This is a project that's easily accessible, no matter where I've taken this, and it's always with middle and high school students. They always enjoy it. Even kids who are not confident artistically will feel pretty comfortable to just jump in and try this. So it's a great project. Okay, so now that we've had a little bit of an intro, let's go through the list of supplies that we're gonna need. So first off, and I talked about this in my last video, but I have put down a plastic covering, and all this is it's real ugly, but I think it's worth mentioning because it's so simple and so easy to do. All it is a trash bag, and it's one with like a flat end, so I cut the end off and then cut the trash bag at the side seams and then just opened it and laid it flat, and quick, easy, bing bang boom tablecloth. So whatever surface you're working with, it needs to either be something that you don't mind getting stained, or you need to put down some kind of protective covering so that you don't stain things and get in trouble. Of course, this is also a good project to do outside if you're worried about stains. Right now, gloves are best saved for other things like cleaning surfaces, but if you in the future would like to do this with gloves, that's an option to keep your fingers from getting stained. So you're gonna need a base, you're gonna need a working surface, and I like to use canvas paper for this because it is fibrous. It's got a weave to it, so paint, when it dries, it actually shrinks up a little bit, especially something like what I'm using, which is tempera paint, and it's water-based. Once the water gets sucked up out of it, the paint itself becomes less dense, and it starts to shrink in. And if you have a solid sheet of paper, it's gonna start to cause it to, like a solid sheet like this, it's gonna cause it to start to wrinkle up. So as the paint dries and shrinks and pulls in, it pulls the paper with it, so you get wrinkly paper. So you can see this one still does it a little bit, which is why if you're working on paintings, a lot of the times the canvas is stretched on a wooden frame. But with the project we're doing, we don't really have a good way to do that. So we just have to accept some flaws, or that's what I say anyway, and roll with the punches, have fun with it. Or if you want to, you could try some different ways of doing this. You could try doing your painting and then laying it down and putting painter's tape all the way around to keep it flat. That might help. Or you could try using just canvas, and if you're really careful, maybe you can figure out a way to stretch that canvas over a frame once you have the painting finished. Lots of babbling, it's not really necessary. as long as you're okay with having some flaws in your painting, then we're good with this. So this is canvas paper, and that's my preference, but not everyone's gonna have just laying around. So some other options I have are just drawing paper. This is a black drawing paper, so we can do something fun and interesting. They do sell that canvas paper in pads. Could probably order it online. And then there's mixed media paper, which is made to work a little bit with wet mediums like paint. So the crawling and shrinking might be a little bit more minimal. Okay. This is also a good project that you can do to teach about symmetry. So symmetry is when one side looks the same as the other, right? Asymmetry is when one side doesn't look the same as the other. So like this design, well, the square is symmetrical. It's sort of a asymmetrical image going on. Or like this is a better example of asymmetry, this photo. It's also a pretty decent chance to talk about color theory. So you could talk about these colors are opposite on the color wheel, so they're complementary, like red and green. Or you could use tertiary colors, whatever your preference is gonna be. Or you could just throw caution to the wind and have fun with it. That's always good too. So what I'm gonna do to start with is I'm gonna get myself one of these canvas pads. Not that first one, because it's got some stains, which is okay, but you know, if I'm doing a video, I should have some clean paper. So if you're working with canvas paper and you don't like the stringiness, you could always grab some scissors and just clean that up. Same with if you cut out regular paper and the edge is jagged. It's just driving you crazy. It doesn't have to be perfect for what we're doing, which is just a fun art project. Okay, you can see my edge is jagged, so it's okay if yours is too. Okay, so there are two ways we can go about it. We can put paint on and fold like a hot dog, or fold like a hamburger. It doesn't really matter, it's just your preference for how the visuals come out. So for the first one, I'm gonna use primary colors, which are red, blue, and yellow, because if they mix together, they're gonna make some fun colors like purple, orange, and green. Whoop, that one's still got the cover on it. There we go, making a mess. And it's okay, because we're doing art. It's okay if there's a mess. So we'll just put some red on there. You want a paint that is gonna spread really easily. I've got the cover on it too. Because as we fold this, the paint is going to spread across the page. There we go. When you're doing videos, make sure you have everything prepped beforehand. Learning experience. All right, and then just put some yellow on. And I know the blue is open. Yes. All right, and some blue. All right, so we got our colors on the page, and I'm gonna get more messy. This is a good opportunity for, if you're gonna wear gloves, this wouldn't happen. Okay, so I'm going to fold it. If we have mistakes, it's quite all right. It's okay. And just press it a little bit. So here's a good benefit of canvas paper, that if you are using it because it is a fabric, you're not gonna get as hard of a crease down the middle. But if you use paper, it's gonna be more defined. All right, so then we're just going to open it, and we have a finished painting, and it's so pretty and beautiful. And I absolutely love doing this. It's so much fun because it's just a simple plop, plop, you're done. Close, open, beautiful painting. I love to do these if I'm having like a creative block, because after you've done it, you can look at it and imagine what you're seeing on the page, and that can lead you to other work. Oh, we had a little bubble in there. That's okay. It popped. So there is one example. And you can do this with all kinds of ages. If you are a teen, you can do this by yourself really easy. Just make sure you don't make a mess and get in trouble. You can do this with younger kids, and they will have a lot of fun with it. You can simplify by just doing one color. Let me get my page here. If you want to get more advanced with this, you could do this at a larger scale. So like a very large sheet of paper. All right, and for this one, I'm gonna use gold, white, and black, and just see what happens. I feel like it's gonna be more dramatic. I know we're working with black paper, but it's still gonna look like a different black. See what we get. And like I said, this paper is meant for drawing. It is just paper. There's no fabric to it, so it's gonna crawl. It's gonna kind of bake in as the paint dries and shrinks. Oh, that's ugly. Let's press it a little bit more. And it's okay if you make something and you hate it. It happens. I still don't like it very much, but it's fun. And that's honestly, that's part of art, is that you're gonna make things that you don't like, and it's okay. You're gonna have a learning process. If you make something you don't like, just take a minute to look at it and figure out what it is you don't like. For me, I don't like that this has gotten kind of messy, in a way that I don't like. It's a little globby. Maybe those colors weren't the greatest choice. Maybe I don't like those colors that much. But then again, maybe y'all actually really like it. And sometimes it's just up to an individual's taste. In any case, it's just art. So relax and have fun with it. All right, that has been my demo for Rorschach painting. Just simple paint blot essentially, and you're done. You can make it complicated, you can make it simple, you can do it with all kinds of ages, as long as you're aware of the needs. So like if you are a teen and you were taking care of younger siblings or you're babysitting, then make sure you're active with the kids that you're watching while they're doing this. One, so they don't make a mess and then you get in trouble, or two, so they don't ingest paint. There's a lot of like kid safe paint, but at the same time, if they eat a bunch of it, they're gonna get sick. And then a lot that is just very toxic. You don't want to ingest it. Yeah. If you want to make this more of a high art activity, you could use canvas, and then instead of the kind of paint I used, you could find a way to thin down your oil paint and apply oil paint to do the press and open, and you'll have more time to manipulate that painting when you're done to make it into something a little bit more grand and complicated. So I am sure y'all are capable of some very creative work. This is art. There are no limits to the possibilities. And if you fall on your face, it's okay, because it's just art. So give it a shot and have fun. Thanks for tuning in.